start firing these off and we can talk about each of these 13 bullet points. The first one is that the most popular categories amongst these aggregators include, number one is home and garden, over 88%, pet supplies, over 78%, baby products, which this one surprises me, 67%, outdoors is 64%, and the fifth one is health and personal care, 64%. And I assume those numbers mean that amongst the 42 people polled, 88% of them, et cetera, were interested in these categories.
Yeah, we asked them to choose three of them, three categories they chose, and these were the categories that they liked the most. What's interesting to look at is the next question, and then I'll tell you, when we interviewed him and we try to understand why do they prefer those and why do they exclude others, and there's an explanation behind it. So if you look at the next question, and maybe I'll read it a second. When we ask them what do they exclude, what do they don't buy, they said apparel. 52% won't buy a business of any apparel of any kind. Electronics is something that they stay away from, 44%. Supplements, food, or any fashion product. And so what was interesting is, when you ask yourself why do they exclude, we can kind of divide it to two main categories that they exclude. They don't like generally categories where they have to launch products all the new listings all the time. So if you look at electronics, if you're selling, for example, I don't know, the new iPhone, or even accessories to electronics, like you're selling the cover of the iPhone, you're paying millions for a listing that has accumulated reviews, and then in 2 years you'll have to launch a new one. So whatever you paid for, yes, I mean the brand has its strength, and it's easier to launch, but still you have to work and launch all the time, and that that requires some design capabilities sometimes, and just more work. What they prefer is evergreen products, basically products that they buy with the reviews, they stay forever. You buy home products, most of them stay forever. Pet product, that's not something that that you'll have to renew every once in a while. Baby products, it depends which products. Outdoor and health, that's what they explained when we asked about the categories. And the second part that they exclude is the kind of food and supplements. When we asked them why, it's interesting. They had two answers. Maybe you can guess. You can guess why. Why don't they buy supplements and food?
Well, I think it's probably because it's like the most competitive thing out there, and the negative nastiness is so overwhelming in terms of black hat competitor stuff that it can sink your business. I mean, I know several people who are in supplements. It can be incredibly lucrative. I think it's like dealing with the devil. It's like it can be incredibly lucrative, but at the same time, it's kind of binary. So like when the crap hits the fan, there's also a lot of legal stuff around it. It can be very difficult dealing with the FDA.
Hit that too. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, the FDA and everything that kind of goes around that can be quite difficult, and then you can get sued very easily for any type of I mean, when you're talking about millions of people, like there's always an outlier, right? Somebody has some reaction to something that everyone else, the other 999,999 are fine with. You can never know that in any type of trial or any type of thing like that. And next thing you know, you're dealing with some 7-figure lawsuit, and doesn't matter how much insurance you have, it still takes up all of your time.
Right. So so these are two of the reasons. So you hit exactly the response. They talk about compliance, and complex compliance, and they talked about especially on supplements. It's a very competitive category, and everybody knows about the kind of mess in this space. Although that's getting better. But another thing that they mentioned when we asked them why is that this is the kind of categories where Amazon can just say one day, hey, this is
Yep.
not sold anymore on Amazon. You know, when
Yep.
they do that with the with just the grinder. I'm thinking just this month, this is not sold on Amazon anymore. And they have a feeling that they can just they won't do that with a kitchen tool, but they may do so with a certain vitamin. I don't know.
Yep.
So that's
That's
also
also why I'm
something that
surprised that
yeah.
baby isn't in that negative category, because we also sell in baby, and the compliance and legal lawsuit, etc., insurance compliance cost stuff is so high
Right.
that I'm surprised that that
Yes,
baby's
but
such a high.
it's not as complicated as the compliance for food. If
100% agree.
if you
Yeah,
look
that's
at it.
way worse. Yep. The
Yeah,
other thing that I've
yeah.
learned from the baby category is that the lifetime value is just not as good because kids grow up, and so the
Right,
things that we sell, they outgrow, and they don't parents don't need them anymore. When you think
right,
of the top categories here, home and garden, pet supplies specifically, personal care stuff. I mean, these are things that, depending on the exact product, um, people need more and more of it. I mean, typically you get a pet, and hopefully you
right.
have them for 10 plus years, and they have
Sure.
a tendency to chew through their chew toy or their treats or whatever it is that you're buying or selling. And the lifetime value is incredibly high versus some of these other categories. Fashion, they might buy one thing, they might return it 3 times trying to get the right fit, and then ultimately not even keep it
Right.
at all. The SKU count gets unruly and crazy. So,
Yes. Let me add just one thing here that was interesting. Two categories that we found interesting are cosmetics and toys. It's not mentioned here in the short explanation, but um, toys is a category that a lot of buyers don't buy. Even on the survey we see it in the ground on the ground. And when we ask them why, again, they're talking about, they're worried that this product has a short life cycle. That it may be trendy now, and in the future it won't. The only toys that most aggregators buy are toys that are definitely evergreen, like a train or something
right,
that
right,
that you've seen for 40 years and you'll see for many years. And cosmetics was also interesting because many of them said that they won't buy cosmetic and beauty businesses because of the same reasons we talked about, for food and supplements. But then those who do, we feel, at least at Fortunate, we feel that those who do really fight on those businesses because they have recurring customers, and generally once you're a brand, it's hard to become a brand in cosmetics, but once you are, it's a very strong brand, and it grows very fast, and it can get it can go to very significant sales. So that was also very interesting to see. There's the two sides.
mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely really interesting.